Welcome back to some more DBD news. My name is Wolfyowns, and this is where we talk about all the new things and changes coming to Dead by Daylight. And oh my god, guys, there is a new trailer that the devs have showed us, and they also went over the killer, her abilities, the perks, everything, the survivor. This is insane and crazy. There's so much going on today, and it is mind-blowing. So for starters, we're going to be jumping into the trailer and going over everything in today's news. So let's go ahead and roll that trailer. Oh, I'm so excited. Demise of the Fateful. Oh my god! Oh my god! The plague! Oh shoot! Oh my god, dude, we have the plague now? Demise of the Fateful. Oh my god, it's gonna be so nuts. Woo! The new trailer has just came out, and I'm pretty sure I put it in here with you guys reacting to it with me, which is great and awesome. Now, I am really excited to see what the new killer does, so I watched the dev stream, of course, and it was so crazy. There's so much going on. But before we jump into the new killer and the new survivor showing off all their perks and their abilities and everything they do, just to spoil it for you guys before it actually comes out and giving you guys all the information you need, we're going to be taking a closer look at the new map that's coming out with the new DLC. So let's go ahead and roll that clip.
So this is how we come to the map.
Yeah.
So the map, like many other places in the game, is a reimagining of the entity of a temple in which Adiris was doing her rituals. So it is now located in Red Forest. So it's it's the two teams have been mixed together. So the entity is basically rebuilding a place of devotion where so it's taken straight out of the memories of the plague. So it's a really cool map. The main building, the temple, is gorgeous. So this is the interior, one of the level that we see right now. There's multiple level. There's a crypt underneath the temple. Of course, there's a gen there.
The lockers really fit.
Yeah.
Ooh, that new map looks amazing, and of course it's a part of the Red Forest, so therefore if you guys are trying to get this map to get your achievements done, it is a part of the Huntress map, so you want to make sure you get the Huntress offerings and use the Red Forest offerings to try and get this map. But the map looks amazing, it's cool, it's a place that the entity has built to worship the entity, which is going to be pretty awesome. I can see a lot of memes happening here, like a lot of memes. No joke, worshipping the entity memes. I could see a whole bunch of memes happening here. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the killer's ability, which is, her ability, she throws up. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Okay, so let's get into it with the killer power.
That's right.
What really everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
This other stuff is cool too, but yeah, you're right. Okay, so the killer power is called the Vile Purge, and I think we saw a quick glimpse of it earlier, but there it is. So this killer vomits.
It's killer vomit.
This is the vomit killer.
There you go.
Dwight seems to not have a good time either.
No one's having a good time about this. So this power has a few parts. There's the vomit itself, which creates sickness in the survivors. As they get vomited on, or once they become infected by the vomit, sickness grows depending on what you do. Running, exerting yourself, doing interactions will make you sicker and sicker until you become, I don't know what the current word for it is, fully sick, which really weakens the survivor. There's, as you can see, objects that get infected by the vomit, so you can actually run around and vomit on all kinds of stuff, and that will sicken survivors who interact with it. And once they're sick, survivors have only one way to cure themselves, which is by using the pool of devotion, which you can see right there.
Which we'll refer from now on as fountains.
Fountains, yeah. Don't call them magic fountains. These are the pools of devotion or fountains. The fountains are really interesting because they also heal survivors when they use them. And so you wonder, well, that seems like it's pretty easy for survivors to deal with. You get sick, you use a fountain. But there's another aspect to the pool of devotion, which is that the killer can use a fountain that has been corrupted by survivors to gain her own power and to gain the corrupt purge, which I'm not sure if we have the footage of. But the corrupt purge damages survivors who are touched by it. So it really changes the dynamic of what you'll use the vomit power for.
It's really interesting. There's this choice as a survivor to, well, first of all, spread the sickness. So that's not really a choice. It's something that happens. Mm-hmm. So the choice of using the fountain to heal, but also being able to give that ultimate power to the killer,
right,
or living with the sickness, which is not good at all.
Which is difficult.
Yes.
Ew! She throws up on survivors, spreading the plague with her throw up. Oh, what the fuck? But all jokes aside, I do really like this killer and the design. They always do an amazing job with designing killers. They always look really good. But also, when you cleanse the plague from you, the vial, when you cleanse it, you buff the killer. So there's different ways to play her, which is pretty cool. And also, I can see people BMing survivors with throw up. Like, you just keep throwing up on them. Like, they're crouched down, and they're looking at you with their mouth open. You throw up into their mouth. Like... anyways, all jokes aside, let's go ahead and talk about one of her 3 perks. So let's go ahead and roll that clip and talk about the perk afterwards.
So,
Perks.
Dark
perks?
Devotion.
All right. Okay, so the first perk of the plague is Dark Devotion. Do you want me to read it out, or do we have it here?
Well, we see the footage, right? You can describe it. You can read it. Go ahead.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and read it. The display of your powers creates a whirlwind of panic that spreads throughout the land. You become obsessed with one survivor. Hitting the obsession with your basic attack causes the obsession to emit a 32-meter terror radius for a few seconds. During that time, your terror radius is reduced to 0. The effect can only be triggered with a cooldown. I'm being a little bit elusive about the exact numbers. Don't worry, guys, you're going to get them soon. And the obsession does hear the terror radius they emit during the duration of the effect. So this is actually a really cool perk. You essentially put your terror radius on the obsession for a few seconds when you hit them.
So as killer, you don't have the terror radius anymore.
That's right.
That's it.
It is transferred.
The obsession is now carrying your terror radius
Okay.
for a few seconds. And that does also affect all the effects that happen in the terror radius, then happen on this new terror radius that is on the obsession.
So the first perk is known as Dark Devotion, and basically what they're saying is once you hit your obsession, you give the obsession your terror radius, so therefore the obsession for a short period of time, a few seconds, becomes the killer, and if you hear the heartbeat coming towards you, you don't know if it's actually the killer or just the obsession who was made to make you think he was the killer. So it's to mess with the obsession's mind a little bit and some other survivors in the area, but it only lasts a few seconds, and that's pretty much it. And it only works on the obsession. If you hit other survivors, it doesn't do anything. So this perk is pretty bad in my opinion. It's gonna be fun and kind of silly, but it's not that great because once the obsession is dead, and since it only works on the obsession, you kind of don't use it anymore. It's kind of a useless perk. So yeah, I figured if they make this perk a little bit better, make it work on everybody as long as the obsession is alive, maybe that would be better, or make it last much longer, like a minute or something every time you hit the obsession. I don't know, something like that would make it a lot better, in my opinion. Right now, I don't see a lot of people using this perk because it's not that great, yet again, in my opinion. Moving on to the second perk in the next part of the dev stream, let's roll that clip.
The second perk is Infectious Fright. The cries of the unfaithful make your heart leap. Any survivors that are within the killer's terror radius, while another survivor is put into the dying state by basic attack, will yell and reveal their current location to the killer for a few seconds. Can we talk about what this perk was called in playtesting?
Yes, you can.
All right. This perk used to be called Shit Your Pants.
Yeah.
Because it makes people scared and they scream.
It's a great name. I just won't allow it for the plague.
No, no. But that was great. We had a lot of fun playing with Shit Your Pants, and honestly, it's become one of my favorite perks to down somebody, see everybody yell, and then go after them.
It's a great combo perk.
Absolutely.
You want to combo it, you get all the survivors to scream and chain them.
Yeah.
Infectious Fright. Finally, a better perk so far. Infectious Fright makes it so when you down a survivor close to other survivors, they will scream, letting you know that they are there in the area. This only works if they're inside your terror radius, of course. Now, this could be a pretty good perk for killers that have bigger terror radiuses, unlike killers that have smaller ones, like Myers. You don't really want to use it on a killer like Myers, unless you're using Distressing. Distressing definitely makes this perk a lot better, and that's pretty much it. It's a pretty good perk. It's not the best, but it's pretty good, actually. Alright, so moving on to the fourth and final perk. Let's see what it is.
And the final plague perk is Corrupt Intervention. The 3 generators located furthest from you are blocked by the entity for a few seconds at the start of the trial. Survivors cannot repair the generators for the duration. So essentially, this makes it so that at the beginning of the game, there are less generators to patrol to increase the chances that you're going to find somebody and initiate a chance early in the game.
Plus, either the survivor waits for the entity to come out of the generator, or has to go closer to where the killer is.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
So those are the killer's perks.
Awesome.
Oh, yes! Oh, Corrupted Intervention. That is such a good perk. It's a really good perk. Like, think about it. If you're tired of Ruin being destroyed in the first 3 seconds of the game, run Corrupt Intervention, and they can't work on the 3 gens farthest from you, farthest from the killer. You can't work on those gens for a few seconds. We don't know how long that's gonna be, because we don't know how long a few seconds are to the devs, but oh my god, that's such a good perk. It doesn't stop gen rushing, but it definitely slows it down, which is really good, because they can't work on the generators whatsoever. You can't work on them at all until the perk's done. That's insane! That's so good! Anyways, moving on to the next part of the dev stream, we are going to be talking about the newest survivor to come to Dead by Daylight, Jane and her 3 perks. So let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Awesome. And Jane comes with 3 perks.
Of course.
Of course.
So, Louis, thank you.
There we go. All right. Jane's first perk is Solidarity. Sharing painful experiences has the power to heal. While injured, healing a survivor also heals you at a certain conversion rate.
Yeah,
That
I was
means
going to scream right away.
not 100%.
What? Yeah.
Not 100%.
Okay.
Not
I'll let the cat out of the bag
100%.
here. What we have right now is 50%. So when you heal somebody, you also get 50% of that healing back on yourself, which is pretty neat.
Ooh, Solidarity. That is a pretty good perk. So basically, if you are injured and you're healing someone else, you are also healing yourself at the same time. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. So basically, you would use this over self-care, and basically you're healing yourself while you heal others, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, it's probably not as great as self-care. Self-care is probably still better because it's infinite healing. They should just put charges on it. Honestly, it's just such a good perk. It's insane. But yeah, its Solidarity is pretty good. Moving on to the second perk in this clip.
The second perk for Jane Romero is Poised. Achieving goals boosts your confidence. After a generator is completed, you leave no scratch marks for 10 seconds. I guess that's good for people who like to do their gen and scoot away. Yeah.
Alright, so Poise makes it so when you complete a generator, 6 seconds after completing that generator, you do not leave scratch marks at all. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's a great perk. Good perk. I mean, if the killer is there and they see you, they're going to be chasing you no matter what, whether you leave scratch marks or not. And if the killer isn't there, I don't know why you aren't running away in the first place. So, yeah, in my opinion, this is a pretty pointless perk and probably not going to get used a whole lot. Moving on to Jane's third and final perk.
And the last perk for Jane is
Wait for it. Oh.
Head On. When your mind is set, there better be no one standing in your way. After standing in a locker for 3 seconds, the perk activates. While the perk is activated, perform a rush action to leave a locker to stun the killer for 3 seconds if they're standing within range, and that causes the exhausted status effect, and it cannot be used while exhausted. So this is it. This is the locker stun perk.
Finally.
Finally, it's finally here.
We still there's still a lot of the requirements to get that stun down.
Right. You have to be hiding in a locker for a certain amount of time. Killer has to be within a very certain range. I don't expect that this is going to be too easy to pull off all the time.
No.
But I really am looking forward to watching people try.
Ooh, and that is a pretty cool perk for survivors. This is something that the devs have talked about for a long time, and so have some survivors. They wanted something to happen to the killer when they jumped out of the locker right before the killer opened it. So basically, with this perk, now when you jump out of a locker after being inside of it for a few seconds, when you jump out of the locker, the killer is right there. The doors swing open, hitting the survivor in the face and stunning them for a few seconds, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool perk, I'm not going to lie. Definitely going to be something that some people BM with at the end of the game. They're going to go in the locker next to the gate, and then they're going to wait for the killer to come. They're going to wait for birds, and they're going to jump out and stun the killer and then run out the gate. It's going to be something that some people BM with, but it's definitely a pretty cool perk, and I'm excited to use it. But that is going to be it for the dev stream, which means that's going to be it for DBD news. Now, however, I do want you guys to go down to the comments section down below and let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on the whole new DLC that's coming out. Let me know if you are excited for the killer. Are you excited for the survivor? Are you not? Do you like the new perks that are coming out? Are they too strong? Do you dislike them? Let me know down in the comments section down below. And that is going to be it for the DBD news, as I have said. But later tonight at 10 o'clock news, apply it directly to the forehead.
The idea is to create exciting, tense moment with the lockers. You know, lockers are there and are quite interesting, and we want to see them used more in an interesting situation. So let's see what would you do with that perk.
Yeah, apply it directly to the killer's forehead.